The other thing I think that we like to talk to people about is that there are no communists in China. China is a country with no ideology. It's not communist, it's not capitalist, it's something entirely different. It's a pragmatic building of a new social economic system. And that's a system that we have called vertical democracy.
You all know that about 200 years ago, with the Constitution of the United States, America founded or created the modern Western democracy. We believe that China is on the way to create a counterpart, another kind of democracy, which, as John said, we called vertical democracy. And I want to make a little drawing so that we can visualize how we got to the understanding and why we call it a vertical democracy. We began looking at Western democracy because you can imagine when we were studying China, we were not content with socialism with Chinese characteristics. That does not really express what it is. So we looked at the West and we find that this is a sort of a horizontal structure where the people all are equally entitled to periodically elect a government. So these are the periods. And to simplify, in this Western democracy, you have Party A and Party B. And of course, they are competing to get the most votes to have the justification for governing. What is natural is that Party A has to make Party B wrong, and Party B has to make Party A look as bad as possible. That's in the nature of gaining as many people to vote for my party. So if we look at that structure, it is, of course, it gives everybody the position to vote for A or B, but it's also a more dividing system. Now, when we looked at China, and you probably know the political structure of China quite well, we have a quite large government structure with different levels of decision making. But we have, although there are different parties, but in general we have a one-party system, and then we have the huge population. Now, how is China ruled? Well, we analyzed that there are bottom-up initiatives and top-down directions. And the way the system works is by this interplay of the bottom and the top. This, of course, is the government is a constancy, which allows the government to make long-term plans and long-term strategies, because its thinking logically does not have to be election-driven. And the people, the bottom, as we look at China and its development, is more and more empowered and gets stronger and stronger, and the government listens more and more. It's a maturing process in this vertical structure of a government that gets its justification not by being elected, although there are many elections on local levels, but by the results they achieve. And that's why we call that a vertical democracy.
Let me give you two quick examples of the bottom-up initiatives in China. The first took place right after Deng Xiaoping took over in 1978, when I know all the people in China know the story of the 18 farmers, and I'm sure that some of you know, but very early on in Deng Xiaoping's period, and of course he's the great father of all the changes in China, 18 farmers up in the northeast in a very, very poor village decided that they would break up their collective. All farming was done in China with collectives. And these 18 farmers who were part of this collective said, and they discussed this for some time, and they said, we want to divide this up into 18 families, the family units, because some of the people worked very hard, some of them are very smart about it, some of them want to go, some of them don't. But let's let everyone just work for themselves. This was totally against the ideology of the party, of course, at the time. Turns out they had the support of the local leadership, which was really very good. And Deng Xiaoping eventually found out about this, and within 5.5 months, this bottom-up initiative by these 18 farmers became national policy. And they changed from collective farms to family unit farms. Everyone didn't do 100% overnight, but that was the initiative that started, and within a very short time, that changed everything. A very recent example of bottom-up initiatives that's been going on for 5 or 6 years, or no, 10 years, I guess, is that cities and provinces all over China have been initiating and doing business with foreign companies and foreign countries and creating joint projects. This was always supposed to go through Beijing. More and more, it didn't go through Beijing. And last year, just last year, 2009, the national government made this national policy that all projects could be done directly to foreign companies and foreign countries up until $100 million. And then that had to be somehow checked with the central government. But this changed that policy. So there are two bottom-up initiatives that were embraced by the leadership in this dynamic. You always have to keep they're trying to keep a balance between the initiatives coming up, which are more and more, and the directives that are coming down. But you know, in this 30 years, now 31, 32 years, China going from 137th to the second largest, how did they do it? Question is, how did they do it? And that's what our book is about.